Hey, this is Coach Lele. Welcome to the Pink Couch. Today we're going to talk about full esteem ahead.
If you have a conversation, have a conversation, come to the big couch and talk it out with Coach Lee. With Coach Lee. A simple conversation.
Happy New Year. Welcome to the Pink Couch. So today I want to talk about full esteem ahead. And I feel like that I should start off this year talking about your self-esteem. Self-esteem is something that is very, very critical to your growth, to the productivity of your life, even to your affluence in life. And so sometimes a lot of people do not execute like they could because of their self-esteem is not in place. So when you think about self-esteem, it's supposed to be how much confidence and value a person has in themselves. That's one of the basic definition of self-esteem. So you have to ask yourself, how much confidence do you have in yourself? And you have to also determine, is it your confidence or is it someone else's? Because a lot of times we get in trouble with ourselves by not being ourselves. You know how it is, you get around a group of friends and because you want to be accepted, you want to feel included, you'll decide that, well, I'm going to start going to this particular restaurant. You know, you don't even like seafood, but because the people that you hang around love it, you adapt to that. And the worst thing you could ever do is adapt. You should always be your authentic self. And that's why self-esteem is so important. As a child, you know, if you were not properly affirmed by your parents or those that you lived with, that can affect how you look at yourself, especially if you hold them in high regard. And a lot of people have low self-esteem because of how people they have placed in high regard feel about them. So you have to ask yourself, the opinions of other people, how important is that to you? Now, some may say you should care what people think about you. In some instances, I would say I would agree with that, but not all instances, not when it comes to how you feel about yourself. Now, in the marketplace, you definitely want to make sure your clientele has a positive view of you. If you're in business, you want to make sure your customers have a positive view about your business. But you don't want to allow people's opinions to form and shape you in a certain way. And so a lot of people have become other things. And this is why people who are really assigned to your life, people who are supposed to be supporting your business, supposed to be buying your book, can't find you because you've decided to be what everyone else says is acceptable. In this year, in 2025, I want you to accept yourself. I want you to get to a place that you really don't care what others think about you as long as you're being you. So there's a difference in being and becoming. When you are being, that is simply who you are. I am Alicia. But if I become someone else, I'm no longer Alicia. So we have to get off of Fantasy Island. That's an old TV show. I'm probably telling my age by now, but there's a show called Fantasy Island. So they could get on this boat and they could be whoever they wanted to be, meet whoever. But then when they got off the boat, they had to go back to reality. And a lot of you have been on this boat ride way too long. You have been riding this boat. You've never gotten off and you are stuck in this concept of what everybody else says you should be. Now ask yourself a really hard question. These people that you hold in such high regard, are they productive in their life? Have they produced any major accomplishments? Do they have any fruit on the table? Do they have any results that you could actually be inspired by? I guarantee you they don't. And a lot of times we look at how people dress, what they possess, and we think that that is success. But I'm here to tell you, you can have a nice car and still be broke. You can have a nice condo and still be unproductive. You can wear nice clothes, but cannot afford basic meals every day. This is why social media has really messed us up when it comes to self-esteem, because we look at these Instagram posts and TikToks, and these people look like they are really got it going on, but they're taking pictures and casting videos in front of somebody else's stuff. So this is why this year, I really want you to focus on your esteem. How do you see yourself? Go back to the dreams you had as a child of what you wanted to be. Because sometimes we have childhood dreams and our parents try to live vicariously through us. And they says, well, you should be a lawyer. So because you want to please your dad, you went to law school. Now you got a whole law degree and you are miserable. Well, you wanted to be an artist. Or your mom said, well, you should be a doctor. And so now you're in the medical field and you're miserable when you really want to be a singer, an artist. So the thing about it is, one thing that I know about us is that everything that we feel about ourselves, everything that we aspire when we're children, that's who we authentically are. That's who we are. Those dreams and those aspirations have been put in, and we were born with those things. But when we start people pleasing, when we start trying to navigate through relationships and to be accepted, we become inauthentic. And what happens when you become inauthentic is that nobody will like you. Nobody will be around you. You will not attract your customers, your clientele. You won't have great partnerships or relationships because you're inauthentic. Somebody is looking exclusively for you. But my question is, where are you? Where are you right now? So you say, Coach, how do I find myself? That's a great question. De-layer. What I mean by de-layer, all the labels people have placed on you, all the opinions that you have adopted as fact, all of the ridicule that you have adopted as fact. A lot of times when we embrace the words of people, when I was a kid, there was this saying that we should say all the time, the sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That was the biggest lie we ever recited. Words matter. Words have power. This is why you have people saying, I don't want any negative energy around me. No negative conversations, because negative conversations change how you feel. You could be having the best mood, but the best day. You get around somebody negative, it drains all of your energy. So what have you embraced as fact that's really just an opinion? And opinions are not always true. It's just how a person thinks. It's their perception. So why have you patterned your life in such a way that people's perceptions have become your reality? It shouldn't be. For me, I used to suffer with low self-esteem. Believe it or not, I did. What people thought about me mattered. I tried to fit in. I tried to blend in. And what I found out is that no matter what I did to please these people, no matter what I did to be around them, they still did not want to be around me. They took my money. They took my gifts. Anything that I had to offer as barter for their friendship, they would take what I was offering, but they still didn't want me. And so what I began to find out is that what they thought was really not my life. I was not ugly. I was not stupid. I was not a square. I was much more than that. And so because they were calling me dumb, because I was a straight A student. And so when I was always answering the questions in class, you think you're better than everybody else. And so that seemed like a bad thing at the time. So because I didn't want to think I was better than everybody else, which the truth was, I never thought that. I was just being authentically me. I was raised in a household where we had to study. We had to do our homework. My father gave me vocabulary cards, and I had to learn the words and how to enunciate them and how to use them in a sentence. That was the way I was being raised. So that showed up in the classroom. I was just smart. But for them, it was irritating to them. So because I didn't want to irritate them, I started becoming the class clown, not doing my homework, getting D's and F's. And so my father was livid because this is not who you are. This is beneath your right. He says, I expect straight A's out of you because you are a straight A student. Now, my brothers, they could make C's. That was acceptable for them because that was their best. But my father would not take less than my best. And so I was struggling trying to not make my father angry as well as these people that I wanted to be friends with. But no matter what I did, they did not want to be around me. And what you have to realize is this, what I had to realize. Even though I was trying to become what they said was acceptable, I still never became that. because there's something about you that's always going to be you, and it's going to agitate those who don't like you. And so no matter how I try to be the class clown, trying to skip class, all this type of stuff, they still didn't want to be around me because there was something about me that was still coming through. And so I want you to find yourself. I want you to delayer. Take those labels off. Take those false expectations off and find yourself. Because you will realize I didn't like that stuff. I don't like fish. I don't like going to the mall. I don't like going to the lake. Different things like that. You'll find that that's not really what you like. And so when you start finding yourself, delayering yourself, taking all those labels off, those false expectations, you'll find that you'll be a lot happier and peaceful as yourself. You know what's crazy for me? I had a house full of people. I had parents, grandparents, and siblings in my house that we lived together. This is the thing. 96% of the time, I was in my room by myself. Didn't want to be around a bunch of people. Didn't want it. Nobody did anything to me. I was comfortable being by myself. I would write. I would write music. I would write sermons. I would rearrange hymns. I would, write stories, letters. I was always doing something creative. I was to myself, I was content. But I was forced to be around everybody and sit there and listen to all this chatter. It was aggravating to me. But then once I really started doing what I was purposed to do, like this right here and other things, the enemy, the devil, would try to make me feel like I needed people. But I was content without them majority of my life until I felt like somebody made me feel like I was missing something. But no matter what I tried to do, Alicia would still pop out and it would still agitate people. They didn't want to be around me. No matter how much I gave to them, no matter what I did to them. And you got to understand that even though you're trying to become something else, you will never be able to stop being yourself. There's something about your character, the way you talk, the way you dress, your aura is going to be you. And people who cannot handle you will not want to be around you no matter how much you try to become something else. So with that being said, how do we improve our self-esteem? Be kind to yourself. We waste so much time and resources being kind to people who are so mean to us. And that's not being kind to ourselves. It's not kind. You're not being kind to yourself, subjecting yourself to abusive conversation, to being degraded, to being ridiculed. That's not being kind to yourself. Surround yourself with people who really like you, who don't expect you to be anything else, who can accept your quirky ways, who can accept the fact that, I don't like pig feet. That's not me. I don't like chitlins. It is what it is. I'm a ribeye girl. So I hang with people who like ribeyes. Now I got people in my life that like pig feet, but they respect the fact that I don't. So you don't have to be around people who are just like you. Just surround yourself with people who actually like who you are. They don't want you to be anything else. They are comfortable with you being who you are. Also identify your strengths. What are you strong in? When you identify your strengths, you'll realize you're good at a lot of things and you can become proud of yourself. The reason why you don't feel good about yourself right now is possibly because you're doing things that you don't like. And when you don't do things you don't like, you're not productive. And when you're not productive, it makes you sad. It makes you feel less than your value, less than your worth. So identify what your strengths are. And then once you identify your strengths, then you will see what you bring to the table. Because what you got to understand is that everybody is different. So somebody may be weak in confidence. So if you're strong in confidence, you can help them build their confidence. Now, they may be strong in being assertive. You may be a little passive. So them being a part of it will help you become more assertive. You see how the relationship works? Relationship where both parties or more than one party, when you all come together, you all benefit from being around each other. But everybody has to be authentic. Another thing you can do to build your self-esteem is to build positive relationships. We love negativity. I don't know why that is, but some people just love drama. They just love chaos. They want the latest tea. But be around positive relationships. Do you know that somebody could say they really love you, but they're always negative? They're always complaining. They're never satisfied with anything. They find the wrong in everything. That is not a positive relationship. Because I guarantee you, if they're talking constantly about what's wrong with everybody else, when you're not around, you're talking about what's not right with you as well. So you really have to listen attentively to the people that's around you in your circles, things of that nature, because a lot of times circles become traps because we're sitting around negativity all the time. We don't give people opportunities to be a part of our lives. I've seen people miss out on very lucrative relationships because they're around somebody who's so negative. They find something wrong with everybody. And because this person has earned your trust, they've kind of been there for you. They're trying to help you in a couple of areas. You think what they say is law. You allow their opinions to become your opinions. But positive relationships do not do that. Positive relationships that we can have differences of opinion, but we still know how to have a conversation without being condescending or disrespectful. You can always have different points of view and still be able to respect that. So you got to spend time with people who make you happy, who add to your happiness, who bring a bright spot in your day. When you're around people, you're always drained. That is not a positive relationship. It really isn't. Be around people who are going somewhere. If you're trying to build a business, if you're trying to start a business, you need to be around business-minded people who understand, listen, I can't go shopping. I need to invest in my business. I can't go out here and be splurging on crab legs 3 days a week. I need to invest in my business. And then find out, are they willing to be investors themselves? Because I have found out that people who really believe in what you're doing, they will make an investment, not to get a kickback, but to help you get kick-started. So you got to make sure you are around people that add to your life and do not take away. Also, do things that you actually enjoy. Why not? Do things that you actually enjoy. I remember in my teen years when I used to be a musician, and I would spend hours on the piano just playing. And I would be in a peaceful place, my happy place, and I might need to pick that back up. I don't know. But I used to just sit on the piano and play for hours and hours and hours and hours. And nobody had to tell me to practice. It wasn't hard for me to do. It's something I actually enjoyed doing. And so, but nobody was in the room. Everybody would go to the room and shut the door in my house because I would be in there playing the piano. And sometimes my dad said, okay, Dee Dee, that's enough. But that's something I actually enjoy doing. What do you actually enjoy doing? Stuff like this, I enjoy doing it. Coaching people, talking to people, inspiring people. I love doing that. That's like second nature to me. But if you want me to open up a restaurant, I'm not going to enjoy it. And even though I love to cook, now cooking is therapy for me, but it's not a business for me. People say all the time, you should open a restaurant. No, that's not. I would not enjoy that. I would not enjoy the overhead. I wouldn't enjoy customers who would complain all the time. I wouldn't enjoy that. So that's not what I'm doing. So find out what you actually enjoy. If you like reading books, read a book. If you enjoy taking long walks, take long walks. If you like bubble baths, take long bubble baths. Do stuff that you actually enjoy, and you will see that you'll actually be fueling yourself. Also, do me a favor. Avoid comparing yourself to others. Don't do that. Hear me and hear me well. There is nobody like you. I don't care if they buy the same outfit, same purse, the same Timberland boots, the same Air Force Ones. It does not. They are not you. Nobody can be you except for you. I don't care if your child looks just like you. You look like somebody in your family. They're still not you. If you were to transition and they had to do a DNA sample on who it is to identify your body, they're not going to find anybody but you. And so I want you to get used to you get used to your DNA. What makes you you? Nobody can copy you. They can copy what you do. They can never do you. A lot of you get frustrated about people who take your ideas and try to pass them off as their own. Why are you frustrated? Be inspired. You want to know why? Because they're watching. Let me tell you something. 85% of people in this world are programmers. They just program to do certain things certain way. That's just how they are. That's what they do. Then you have 10% of people who are innovators. They get inspired by somebody else like yourself, and they end up trying to innovate what you have implemented. Then there's 5% of us that are creators. We are creative. We can make something out of nothing. And so you got to understand that when you are creative by nature, and which all of us should be, but a lot of us don't have the self-esteem to actually tap into that. But when you decide that you are in the top 5%, guess what? You're inspiring people. They can mimic what you do, they will not get your results. And that's why people end up not liking you. That's why they end up being jealous of you. And some borderline hate you because they cannot be you. They copy every single thing that you've implemented, and they do not get the same results because they are not you. Do you understand that you have been created exclusively for a purpose in this earth? And when you fulfill that purpose, you yourself will be fulfilled. There's a saying that I use at church that I say all the time. I'm going to share with you there on my podcast. Listen, your gift feeds others. Your calling will feed you. What do you mean, coach? Okay. Most people like my macaroni and cheese, right? So if I make a pan of macaroni and cheese and give it to them, that's a gift, right? The only person that benefits from the gift is the recipient. But this right here is what I'm called. I can do this in sleep. I can do this sick. I can do this I can do it blindfolded. It's what I'm called to do, and it feeds me. So I will never get tired of it. I won't quit. I won't be frustrated with it because this is what I'm called to do. So you got to figure out what your purpose is. And when you, and can I help you? You're already doing it. That's how natural it is. A lot of people ask me, well, I don't know what my purpose is. Yes, you do. Because whatever you do naturally without thinking, without question, that is your purpose. Period, point blank. People want to make it simple. You got to take a $100 class to figure that out. No, let me save you a little money. What you are passionate about, what you can do, sick, sleep, lack of sleep, whatever, that is your purpose. It's so natural that it's easy. And that's why it's so undetectable, because we're looking for the big boom. And we don't realize that what our purpose is, we naturally do it every day. So you are naturally help people. You find ways to help. You make things easier for people. Some of you are called to lead people. You're good at organization and leading people to a certain path, letting them go on their own. But you have a purpose. So once you identify yourself, and once you are kind to yourself, and once you build positive relationships, then you will not have to compare yourself to others. That is something that I used to do in my 20s. And sometimes in my 30s as well. Try to compare, well, if I do it like this, I'll get what they get. But the thing about it was, what I thought others had, they didn't. They were good at advertising. Their advertisements were amazing. When I actually got into their presence, it's like no people, no clientele, no connections. It was mind-blowing how people I held in such high regard did not have any results. They just had a great presence on social media. They had a great presence in people, in conversation. They broadcast themselves a certain way. When you actually went into those arenas, place not clean, not tidy, no great equipment, no audience, no anything. So then I had to learn that, you know what, Alicia? Just be you. And when I decided to be Alicia, that's when everything fell into place. That's when things began to flow for me. That's when lack left my life, because there's everybody that's living and breathing has the power to get wealth. And how do you get that? By being authentically yourself. So don't compare yourself to others. Celebrate your own achievements. Sometimes we feel like you tell your friends, well, this is what I've accomplished. Oh, that's great. And you were like, that's not the reaction I was looking for. Celebrate yourself. I cannot tell you how many times I went to Ruth Chris by myself celebrating my accomplishment. I enjoyed my ribeye steak, well marbled with extra butter. Yes, I did. By myself. And I was content. I didn't feel bad. There was couples over here and groups over there. I was there to celebrate what Lele was able to accomplish that particular day. But you know what? Once upon a time, that wasn't me. I didn't celebrate my accomplishments. I just felt like, because sometimes people make you feel bad about your success. Have you ever been around people like that? People who, you're telling them your great news and they never have any good news. So you start to feel bad that you actually have good news. That is crazy. So you ought to know that relationship is not healthy for you. You should be able to share your accomplishments and what you have accrued with great confidence and be celebrated. But just in case that's not the case, celebrate yourself. Celebrate every milestone. Listen, if you will come out of an abusive relationship and you didn't text back today, I'm proud of you. Okay? I'm proud you ignored that text and you had enough strength not to respond. Okay? If you've been in a toxic friendship and you know this person has been running your name down and you decide not to defend yourself today, I'm extremely proud of you because now you are being kind to yourself. Listen, if you realize that you are strong in journalism and you're starting to write again, I celebrate that. I want you to take your strengths and continue to stretch out. And so you'll realize that as you become stronger in what you're already strong in, your weaknesses, you'll attract other people who have those strengths that you need, and that will build you up even more. Listen, if you decided that I'm not going to respond to crazy today, let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate you not having the last word. You decide I'm not arguing with anybody today. Let's celebrate that. If you got out of the bed this morning after you've been laying under the covers for the last 5 days, I'm proud that you're up watching this broadcast right now. Listen, I want us to get used to celebrating every ounce of progress. You don't have to wait till the promise is fulfilled. Celebrate the progress to it. Celebrate your process. Celebrate the fact that, you know what, I've decided to change my mind and do something different. You're going to find out as you begin to celebrate little by little along the way, you'll have more to celebrate as you grow and as you evolve. So, as I said in the beginning of our conversation today, 2025, full esteem ahead. We're going to build your self-esteem this year. We're going to keep it high and we're going to do better. We're going to be better and we're going to have better. Listen, I believe in you. All right. And so whatever Coach Lele can do to help build your esteem, we're going to do that for you this year. No matter what comes, no matter what goes, it's full esteem ahead. Thank you for listening to The Pink Couch. We'll see you next time.
Have a conversation. Have a conversation. Come to the Pink Couch and talk it out.